But now the president's facts are under fire. We wanted to verify which statements are accurate and which ones are exaggerated. Janelle Bluda has more on what the president had to say about the number of people crossing illegally.
Speaking at the White House today, President Trump declared a national emergency on our southern border, making this remark.
So we have far more people trying to get into our country today than probably we've ever had before.
But the reality, illegal border crossings are far lower than we've seen in the past. The U.S. government doesn't have a way to actually measure how many cross the border illegally, but what it does measure is the number of those who are caught crossing illegally. Looking at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection numbers for the fiscal year 2018, a little less than 400,000 people were apprehended at the southwest border. That number comes nowhere close to the highest on record almost 20 years ago, fiscal year 2000, when Border Patrol agents caught 1.6 million people. So we can verify this statement from the president is false.
Janelle, do you want us to investigate a rumor you saw online? Email verify@khou.com and we'll look into it for you.